You're listening to the Money Mike syndicated radio show. We're going to keep you up to date and current in all sports. We'll make sure you're aware of everything in corporate and enterprise business. And most of all, we'll share with you how to make a little more money as we cover the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. All colleges. You know, we got to talk about prime time and Deion Sanders and everything that's going on. You know, Stephen A. Smith, you know, he's on there. He's on his show. He's showing Rolexes. And he's trying to coach up Shedeur Sanders. But that ship has already sailed. And Pat Shermer's got a hold of Shedeur Sanders. And they're doing just fine. But it seems to me everybody wants to latch on and find a way to try to say prime time Deion Sanders just isn't getting it done. Now, me, I'm a little bit different. Of course, you know, I believe all things are possible to those who believe. And break it down to you a little bit to share that, nope, Deion Sanders' two sons, Shiloh and Shedeur. Folks, let me tell you something. Those are two pit bulls, two Rottweilers. And let me tell you what he's built them into, but he's building everybody that comes around the Colorado football team. Because what Deion Sanders is doing, he's changing boys to men. And that's what he's been destined to do. Now, when it comes to Shiloh and Stephen A. talking about the Rolex and everything, you haven't won any games. Folks, let's back it up and let's keep reality should be what it is. You know, the Pac-12, they had 8 teams ranked in the top 25. So that was obvious those 8 teams were ahead of Colorado, who just came in and won a game. And it didn't stop there. I mean, obviously, he went past last year's win total. And they got it ranked right now, factually information. They got it ranked 10th in the Big 12. Okay, so they're moving along right where they should be. They moved them up in the ranking after the spring game because the spring game told a lot. And the bodies aside, the size, speed, and power that Colorado has went up higher and higher and higher. Now, when you get to coaching, you know what? I always try to make sure guys talk about it rightly when they get to coaching, because sometimes guys want to talk about coaching, but they really don't want to talk about the coaching because you got Pat Shermer sitting right there, and I don't understand how you're going to have any coaching when you got Pat Shermer sitting right there. That's the NFL coach. He went to the board, and he said there's one thing you got to be is coachable. Coachability is what you got to have. And he's dialed in with Shedeur. Shedeur is going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. He's going to move forward. And, folks, that's less than a matter of 365 days. Okay, so both Deion Sanders' son are moving on. They're going to go on into the NFL. I mean, that's the destiny, right? But the team is still going to perform at a high level. And when somebody doesn't understand how the NFL works, okay, Shedeur Sanders is going to walk in the NFL, is going to be welcome. Because the first thing the quarterback's got to do is stand up for his players. And he backs all the players that he has in that locker room. Now, those who want to leave, that's your choice. Nobody can stop you from doing that. Pat Shermer is putting him in an NFL offense. You know, Dalen Edwards, he went over to Kansas State and, he missed a golden opportunity. And let me tell you why. See, when you go to these other programs and you're not at Colorado, you ain't going to have no spout and you ain't going to have no shout. Because here's what goes down. They got some juniors, some incumbents there, some juniors and seniors. Going to shut all that down, okay? Because you're not going to walk through there and all of a sudden you're going to move up the depth chart. You're going to get in line where you belong, okay? And the juniors and the seniors, all this stuff that's not being controlled but will be controlled next year by bar none is the fact that you don't have those upperclassmen there. But once those upperclassmen land and they're in the program, you know what, folks? Everything falls in line. So look back at, Nick Saban. I think he holds the record. Now, you could be wrong, but it says college football program loses 9 players to transfer portal in 15 minutes. Lord have mercy. Okay, so you got to keep it 100. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this. All right, Shiloh Shedeur is going to the NFL. Okay, he's going to be productive in the NFL. He has a mindset of a quarterback to go in the NFL locker room And he's going to protect all of his players. He's going to stand his ground, okay? Because, folks, let me tell you something. In the NFL, there are big dogs, okay? And those men play for paychecks, and they got a concern over Caleb Williams. Why? Because you got our paychecks on the line, Caleb Williams. But Shedeur Sanders, raised by Deion Sanders, they ain't going to have no problem with him, okay? Because he's standing up, okay? Ain't nobody going to stay. And if your quarterback's willing to throw down, the whole team is willing to throw down, okay? And that's just the bottom line. And I take you back to Howie Long with the Oakland Raiders, as he told his boys, even though they were in the NFL on different teams, if you ever see your brother in a fight, you better jump in, okay? And I tell you what, if you don't, when you get home, I'm going to kick your blank, 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 okay? Because I seen the Long brothers, opposite team, man, and one of them said, you get off my brother, started throwing teammates away. So these guys are rocking and rolling up in Colorado, and they doing what they supposed to do. But at the end of the day, man, that's all talk. But you're going to have to get to the football field. And when you start playing that game of football, folks, let me tell you something. It's only built for the men who have the desire to be the best you can be. And for all those players leaving, and I'll keep it 100. If you got an opportunity to get somebody from the Ohio State Buckeyes and they're third on the depth chart, let me tell you something, folks. That's a big-time player coming over here to Colorado, okay? And it is what it is. Whether competition or not, coachability, and when I hear players say they want to be developed, you must be willing to sit the bench, okay? You must be willing to wait your turn 3 years for that opportunity to become a starter. There's no wine served before it's time. But I do know this, when it comes to Deion and his boys, and all of his boys, that entire roster, okay, is his boy. And he's going to rise them on up to the top. And that's just what Deion does. But when you look at this, and you get back to what Stephen A. talking about, and I'm trying to understand Stephen A. I always try to understand Stephen A. Let me tell you why. It's because he says things that have nothing to do with the reality of the game. These guys are in the NFL. They playing with gold chains around their neck. They playing out there. They each other out, and they playing for their livelihood. Okay, and that's going to happen with the Sanders sons here in another 24 months. Excuse me, I said another 12 months, less than 365 days. You're listening to the Money Mike syndicated radio show. We're going to keep you up to date and current in all sports. We'll make sure you're aware of everything in corporate and enterprise business. And most of all, we'll share with you how to make a little more money as we cover the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. All colleges, they will move on to the NFL. And I will tell you this about his boys. He's raised them. He didn't raise no cheap chihuahuas, no shih tzus. He raised pit bulls and Rottweilers.